Hello, my name is Katina Horton. I am the Love and Freedom Toxic Relationship Recovery Coach. And today we're going to talk about narcissism and them being the center of attention, okay? So narcissists and the center of attention. Narcissists operate from a false sense of self, right? And because this false sense of self is the protective side of the narcissist, they will do anything and everything to keep this false sense of self in charge at all costs, okay? They do not want to be thought of as being ordinary, just like everyone else, okay? And so they do not want to also deal with the sea of shame. That's one of their core emotions is shame. So they also do not want to deal with swimming in a sea of shame, right? Thus, the false sense of self, right? And devaluing and belittling people in order for them to be able to feel like they're in control and to be able to keep that overinflated sense of self going at all times, right? And so that's why belittling and devaluing other people is their MO, literally, okay? And that's why, in turn, they thrive off of being the center of attention, okay? And so one would think that being the center of attention, that the individual is doing something that's always worthy or good. Not necessarily so when it comes to the narcissist, okay? What happens is that they want attention, whether that attention is from them doing something good or bad, okay? And so what happens is either one of those cases would serve their purpose, and it would serve their purpose because they need to use people as emotional regulators, right? And that's why they come up with the term supply. When you think about a power supply for a computer and you have all these peripherals connected to the power supply for a computer, and that power supply is regulating, right? The voltage that's going to all of the peripherals that's attached to the motherboard, right? So you are focusing, right, as the same thing when it comes to the narcissist. Think about the power supply that has two switches on the back. So the up switch would be the part where you are worshiping them. And then think about the down switch as being the one where you are devalued, okay? And so I want to also have you think about this, is that when you serve as this emotional regulator, right? And either the narcissist could be trying to use you to help make an impression upon a group of people, or they could be using you to make a good impression. It is like, look at my woman. Or they could be trying to use you to make a bad impression. Like, look at her. She's a piece of nothing. You see what I'm saying? And so what happens is that when you're used as this emotional regulator, you tend to go up and down like a roller coaster. And then in turn, this creates a trauma bond with inside of you, right? As you're being this up and down emotional regulating roller coaster, so to speak, right? So now say, for instance, the narcissist is with a group of friends, okay? You guys are all out and they go out of their way with this big old theatrical performance, right? Because people are saying, oh, you look so good. I love that dress. I love that purse. Or if it's a male, man, you smell good. You look good. You look like you could be Denzel Washington or whatever, the person is saying to pump them up. So all the attention is on them, right? Now, say, for instance, someone in the group is getting ready to get married. And so the whole conversation is focused, the attention, right, is on that particular individual. Everybody's congratulating that person. And then that person is giving the details about when the bridal shower is going to be, when the bachelor party is going to be, and all of that, right? When you're going to have the, what else I want to think of that happens when you have the weddings. Sometimes they even have like the dinners right beforehand, right before the rehearsal, like the rehearsal dinners and that type of things with the parents. So you're discussing all of these different details, right? All the attention has been taken off of the narcissistic individual. And so what they will do is sit there and make everybody else miserable, either through facial expressions or with their hands crossed and looking upset. And this might not even happen just when you're out with a group of people eating dinner. This could even happen in church, where this individual wants to let let everybody know, the narcissistic partner, I don't want to be here, and I don't care if you see me acting like this and wondering what's going on with me. I don't want to be here, right? And so that way they've made themselves what? The center of attention, okay? And so the thing is that at this point, if you're with that person, you invited them, you're thinking, man, you're sitting there with all this regret. I hate that I invited this person, but it's nothing you can do about it, right? You invited them. It's nothing at all that you can do about the fact that you've invited them to come along with you, except for grinning and bearing it, so to speak. But they're making your life miserable because either they are taking all the attention and focus onto them by doing something good, or people said all these good things about them, or because the attention is not on them, they're making it about them still. They're sitting there miserable, either screaming and yelling, or all of a sudden they'll pick a fight with somebody or start just judging and criticizing someone in the group, or like I said, just sitting there with their arms folded and being upset. And you can tell, it makes people what? It makes them uncomfortable, right? So then people start thinking, oh, well, you try to start comforting this person. There's no comforting them. There's no trying to get them to have a come to Jesus moment so they can kind of like be in lockstep with the group. No, they are going to be the center of attention, right? They're not able to get the attention they need. And so now they're going to get it by making your life miserable at that particular point in time, right? And so another thing that could happen when you think about it, that happened in scripture, that's the perfect example as far as a narcissist is concerned, is with David's son, Absalom, okay? Absalom had been gone to Geshur for a few years. He fled there after trying to lead a revolt against his father, right? And he also had murdered his half-brother for raping his sister Tamar. So David allows Joab to bring Absalom back, right? And David had the spirit of avoidance. He had avoidant attachment style. So instead of seeing Absalom, he went on and told Joab he didn't want to see him. And so this went on for like 2 years, okay? And so Absalom wanted this attention. And so what he did, he asked Joab, okay, let me talk to the king and let me be able to go see him. And Joab didn't bother by coming and answering his messages. Once again, he's sending messengers over to Joab. Come here, I want to talk to you. I want to be able to see the king. Once again, Joab ignored him and didn't come. So then Absalom, okay, the one with narcissistic brokenness, I guess he figures, okay, I got something for you. You're not going to come. You're going to come now, right? So he was able to get attention by having his servants to set Joab's field on fire. And of course, what happened? Joab came, then he showed up and he said, okay. Joab's like, well, why did you do this? You know what I'm saying? And I'm paraphrasing. And Absalom's like, well, you didn't come the other 2 times. So basically, like, I had to figure out some kind of way to get you here. So that was a childish move. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of the things that the narcissists do because of the arrested development is childish and immature and emotionally immature. But they don't see that. They're seeing so-called what everybody else is doing as being emotionally immature. So anyways, what happens is that upon getting the field set on fire, Joab goes and talks to Absalom, and then he goes and brings him before the king. Because what Absalom also told Joab is like, I could have stayed in Geshur if I wasn't going to be able to see the king. I came back here for nothing. All of that might have been true, but that still didn't mean that in order for you to get attention, you had to go and set someone's field on fire. And see, what will happen is a lot of times in life, you will see this type of behavior when you have a narcissistic partner. They want to get your attention. You've decided on the few rare moments that you're setting up boundaries, and especially once they either leave you or you're forced, they discard you, right? Or either you're forced to be in a reverse discard situation where you have to get rid of them because they've sabotaged the situation so much so that you can put them out so they don't have to take responsibility. Or for some strange reason, you might have been able to get right out before they discarded of you, right? Whatever the case is, now you're at the point of setting up boundaries, right? And so what they will start to do, they're used to the old you, but the new you is the one that's starting to use boundaries. So what will happen is they will start to act out. And when I say act out, you will start to see behavior like you've never seen before. You're thinking, what in the world is going on? I must be like literally losing my mind or something because this could not be happening. Yes, it is happening. Yes, it is true, unfortunately. And they will go to any level at that point. Once you start setting up boundaries, you will start to ask yourself, am I dealing with a 30-some, 40-some, 50-some year old man or person, or a child.